Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily Marvel Snap video. So the Nexus location has gone, and so I think it is time to do something kind of fun. We will get back to the serious deck drafts on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but for today I wanted to do something kind of fun. Today we're going to be drafting a deck similar to the Hearthstone format, the Hearthstone Arena format, where this website, created by Stone Donkey, will generate 3 cards. We will select one of those 3. It will add it to our deck. We will do this for all 12 cards in our deck list. And so for the video, we're going to be creating as strategic a deck as possible, but where it's going to get really crazy is during our lunch live stream. You guys are going to be able to vote on which cards you want us to add to the deck, and then whichever one has the highest percentage is the one that we will run. And so if you guys want to really troll and select a Cerebro and a non-Cerebro deck list, you guys will have that option, and then I will have to run it for at least the majority of the lunch live stream. But for this video, let's go ahead and start drafting our cards. So the Nexus location is gone, so I don't think Uwadu is necessarily the play. Nakia did get a recent buff, so now it's the 2 leftmost cards in your hand. Get +2 power, but I think I'm going to go with a low mana curve, just a decent power onto the board. We might be able to get some decent resources from Mantis here. So let's pick Mantis, and then it'll generate our next card. Okay, so we have Mr. Sinister, which is not bad. That would have been good with Nakia. We have Colossus. I think we're going to go Shang-Chi. I think the way we're going to win with this deck is to be able to hard counter whatever the opponent drops. And I think to do that, we're going to need some tech cards or some counter cards. And so then we have Hazmat, we have Cerebro, and we have Polaris. For me, this one seems like an easy choice. Cerebro in a non-synergistic deck list is not going to do great. Hazmat, the same thing if we end up having more cards on the board than the opponent does. And then even if we haven't sent them anything and really clogged up their board, Hazmat's effect is pretty lackluster. So let's go with Polaris. We can use that to pull cards over, kind of clog up their board. We have Nakia again, which would have been with Mysterio. That's pretty good as well, because Nakia, if we can guarantee that it hits the Mysterio, will buff up each of the token cards as well. But we have Polaris. I'm going to go with a move style deck. We're going Magneto. I'm curious if Miles is already added to this list. If so, that might be a decent one to pick. And then we have Swarm, which also would have been a good target for Nakia. I'm going to go with Morph. We're going to go with just that random approach. Hope that what we pull or what we generate from the opponent is going to be beneficial. And so then we have Deadpool. Without a destruction tool, that one's going to be a hard pass. Black Widow seems okay at disrupting the opponent's draw, but I don't know that it's that impactful. I'm torn between Black Widow and Angela. We don't have an incredibly low mana curve, and so I think we want to kind of keep it that way. I think we want to kind of curve into like a couple of 1 costs, a couple of 2 costs, a couple of 3, maybe a couple of 4, 1 or 2 5s, 1 or 2 6s. That way we could have like a good flow all the way throughout our deck. And so I think we're gonna go with Black Widow here. Instead of the Angela, I don't know that we're gonna have enough cards to flood into that lane. Now Angela may have been the better choice, but I like the disruption that Black Widow can give to us. And then that, in addition to like moving their cards over with Polaris, maybe we can get them to cap out a location they don't mean to. And so then here we have Black Bolt. Feels pretty rough to use. We have Vision, which is pretty tough to use. And then we have Uwadu the Watcher. So we'll be able to tell which locations are unrevealed. I almost want to go with Vision here. Just go with an entirely move style package. The Polaris, the Magneto, the Vision. But I'm honestly leaning more towards Uwadu. I'm gonna go against my gut. I think Vision would probably be a little bit safer of a play, because then we can readjust it for that last turn play to try and find a way to win. I'm gonna go with Uwadu instead. That way we can see the locations ahead of time, maybe play around them, but probably just end up playing him as a 1 cost 2 power card. Our hand currently is not going to be that big, so Devil Dino would be pretty unimpactful. Quicksilver feels like it would be wasted, especially since we already have 2 1 cost cards. Let's go with the Dracula, and then we can just try and dump the rest of the cards on the board. Ooh, we do get Miles Morales. That's not a bad one. I do like Thor. I think Thor is going to be pretty impactful, but we do already have 2 3 cost cards. With how many move cards we have Polaris, we have Magneto. I like the Spider-Man with the Polaris play here. So let's go with that one. Oh, and then we get a leader. That's going to be a big turn 6 play. We'll be able to have a choice between Magneto or leader. So if we are winning the location, which we don't have a huge like power curve, but if we were winning 2 of the locations, we can keep that lead with leader. Maximus feels kind of bad. We would have to drop him probably on turn 3, along with another 3-cost card, which doesn't feel the most beneficial. So I'm gonna go with Leader. I think that one's a pretty simple call. And then we have Jessica Jones, Mojo, and Black Bolt. Black Bolt's not even on my radar right now. It is between Jessica Jones and Mojo. So Mojo is a 2-cost card, which feels pretty decent. It helps with our curve. We can make sure we have 2, 2, 2, 3, and then we're looking for maybe a 5-cost card. But Jessica Jones, I think, is going to be more consistent. We might be able to pull their cards over with Polaris to generate our Mojo bonus. Maybe we'll go with Mojo. And then for our very final card, we have Kraven, which could benefit a little bit from these like mini move style cards. We have Groot, which would be a decent turn 3 drop, or we have Giganto. I think we already have the 6-cost slot covered. I don't want to clog our board with too many 6-cost cards. So now it comes down to, do we want Kraven to get the slow potential bonus, or I think we're going to go with Groot instead. At 3 costs, that's okay. It's not incredibly great, but that will allow us to play that along with one of our 2 costs on 5, since we don't have any 5-cost cards. And so let's go ahead and copy our deck code. We're going to switch over into the game view, and we're going to build out this deck list really quickly, guys. All right, so we have the deck built. We are ready to go. The first game is Weird World. This is game 1. We are going to do 5 games and see how many cubes we net gain or net lose from this deck list. And so Weird World is a strange one. In true fashion, we are going to go ahead and snap on it. Sometimes that will cause the opponent to retreat, but if not, it is a random game. We feel better about running their cards than our random cards, and so I think we let it be. Ooh, so they had Uwadu they drew our Uwadu, and put it into this far right location. So that tells me maybe we need to push some kind of power over there. And then if they do stack something else and it turns out that this is a really good location, we can pull their Uwadu out with our Polaris. Okay, so they do play another card. I think this is probably a pretty good location. They're hitting us with our entire curve so far. So there goes Black Widow. We do have the Widow's Bite now from this. Wait, how come Mantis didn't trigger? Oh, it did. We just couldn't draw it because of because of the Widow's Bite. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I think we're going to do the Polaris to pull one of their cards over that'll take it out of Xandar. It gives them less of a bonus. We were kind of hoping they played a card into Atlantis, but they didn't. So they discard our Dracula, so that's not bad. Let's see if there's a win condition that we can find. Because right now it's not it. We do have the 1-cost Spider-Man or Miles Morales because of the move component from our Polaris. So we're going to be able to throw that down onto the board this turn. It's just a matter of where do we want to throw it. They have 3 cards in hand. We have 3 as well. If they play 1, we can force them to discard their other one and maybe get some decent upside. It does feel kind of bad because we would get triggers of the ongoing bonus from Morbius, but I think we just play the Moon Knight and we let it roll. We let it play out. Do they send us some kind of card in Atlantis? If not, then playing something else seems kind of strange. Oh, and we discard their, oh my gosh. We discard their Swarm, which then duplicates it. Oh, that feels awful. We have a Rogue now, and that's it. So they now have 2 Swarms. The Moon Knight was an unfortunate decision from our part. Their Shang-Chi came in really, really clutch for them in Atlantis. As long as we get something decent here. Is it worth risking 2 additional cubes? So currently we could escape for 2. It's going to be 13 power in Atlantis if we play it here. We could also play it into Weird World. It just comes down to if they can beat our power level in Xandar. So it is what it is. I think we let it roll. Right now we are a net 0. Ooh, that's a lot of cards into Xandar. That is unfortunate. They do win in Xandar. They win in Weird World. They win in Apocalypse. They do a complete sweep. Oh, that one's a tough one. That one is a tough one to swallow. So that is a -4 cube start. All right, so next up we have Side Reel. And if you guys like this format, make sure that you are here a couple of hours, about 4 hours after this video goes live. We will be doing a lunch live stream where you guys, the viewers, will be able to select the cards that we run in our deck list. And I think it's going to be an incredibly fun challenge. And so the second location is going to discard one of our cards. The third one will draw into 2. So I think we hold Uwadu. We hope that Sokovia targets our Uwadu to get the discard, but if not, then we just kind of pivot and see what it looks like from there. So we are going to lock that in. We are -4 for those keeping count. Oh, and it targets our Magneto. For those keeping count, we are -4 currently on our cube count. We're hoping to gain some. They discarded their armor. Oh, well, I was hoping they would play something that they ended up not playing anything. In Uwadu, the information that he gave us was not great, other than the fact that it was going to draw into 2 additional cards. So we do have a morph. We could potentially hit like a Destroyer or a Professor X, both of which would feel pretty decent. So just in case we do Professor X, I'm going to morph into Sokovia. That way we have that little bit of upside in case we do lock it down with their card. We have leader for our last turn play. We can always drop Dracula, but we did discard our 1 big cost card. We do morph into their Destroyer. Huge play. Absolutely massive. Let's go with a Polaris into Sokovia. Ooh, wait. Do we get cheeky and destroy their Cosmo? As long as they don't play into Hala, then we can move their Cosmo over. As long as we win this lane, it destroys their dog. We may be hurting. We may be killing a puppy today. No, it doesn't. Oh my gosh. It's a 3 cost card. I am losing my mind, guys. For some reason, I thought it would drag the Cosmo over. Unfortunately, I was very, very much mistaken. So this is going to be a primary lane for their Destroyer, I think. We can go with a Dracula. Right now we have the spread, so even if they send us a Goblin, let's say in Hala, like a Hobgoblin, they can't lock us down with Professor X. They can't comfortably do a Professor X here, because we will have Dracula that will be able to gain some power overall. That morph was really, really strong. We're going to go ahead and snap here a turn early, and then I think we might leader next turn, depending on where they have power, what they push. I think if they want to win, they have to do Destroyer here. Otherwise, we have a really strong game. They have a Devil Dino in their Destroyer list. Very interesting. I think this one's a pretty straightforward play, right? We do Shang-Chi. There's no way that they can drop him down low enough that he's not going to be more than 9 power. So our Shang-Chi should always sweep this location and win it for us. They do a Destroyer play here. Potentially, we win Hala and Sokovia. I think this is an easy 8-cube game. Shouldn't be, but I think it's going to. Let's go ahead and lock it in. Ooh, crud. Oh, that last game hurt. And I drafted this one, and we were getting destroyed. So the first location is Jotunheim. We do have Uwadu. So the next one is going to be the hub. It'll generate a random card. And then the last one is actually going to shuffle our cards back into our deck. And then we draw 3 more. So that tells me that I do want to flood the cards onto the board where I can. Of course, I can't do too many. But I want to shuffle as few cards into our deck as possible. And so we have a major hill to climb here. Just awful. We have that Arnhem Zola play was huge. Absolutely huge. And so while we are on a negative cube streak, I do have a couple of shout outs that I want to give. During our last lunch live stream, we had a few new members join us. We had Dad and Murdoff, who joined us as fans of the channel. And so they get access to the emojis, the badges. So thank you guys so very much for that support. It is very, very much appreciated. I'm going to play Dracula, and then we're going to go ahead and snap. And then in addition to the new channel members that we had join, we had a few people support the channel with super chats, which are essentially just a small donation that highlights a message. It can be anything from a troll message, Pilk, to something sentimental, something grateful. It could be any number of things. So we had Kraken Null, who, it was the day before yesterday's lunch live stream, but he used the super chat feature and sent us on a nostalgia trip of 90s anime, growing up in the 90s. We had Ken Marvel Snap, who used the super chat feature yesterday during our lunch live stream. And then we had Alex or Sachi use it as well. Thank you guys so very much. It is very much appreciated. I can't express how much the support means to me, it means to our content, it means to the channel. So thank you very much. We do get the opponent to retreat. So this is game 3, and we've only gained 1 of the 12 back. So we are still at a negative 11 cubes for the stream so far. We're going to need to do better than that. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one, see if we can get a big cube game going. All right, so here we are starting game number 4, and we have somebody that I haven't matched up with for a while in Bishop. So I'm glad to see that they are still here and they're still snapping. We have the Dark Dimension, we have the Crimson Cosmos, so cards that cost 1, 2, or 3 won't be able to be played there. That means our Miles Morales, our Mojo, a lot of our cards. We could drop a Dracula there, but that's about it. So in that case, I'm going to drop... We're going to drop Uwadu over into that far right-hand side. Next turn, we might either do the Black Widow, or maybe we do Mantis if we think it encourages them to play over there. And we get the expected reaction from seeing the Uwadu come down. Let's go ahead and play Black Widow. That's going to disrupt their draw a little bit. They might play here, but they might not also. So we play Black Widow. That's going to disrupt their draw just a bit. They have an armor, so we've been seeing a lot of Destroyer deck lists. Maybe we can outmaneuver them ever so slightly. We can always pull armor away on the last turn if we draw into Polaris, and that will allow us to kind of cheat this lane into a destruction, which I think would be really, really... actually, no, we can't, because we can't play it here, and it won't flip in the Dark Dimension, so we can't do that. Let's go with a Mantis into the Avengers compound. Maybe they play another follow-up card to the armor here. Maybe we can pull one of their key resources. Nope, they drop something into every other lane. All right, so we could do a Dracula. We could hide a morph in Dark Dimension, and let it morph into whatever we think might benefit us. I think we go with the morph though. I think we go with morph. It could be a goblin, it could be a destroyer, it could be a Professor X. I think all of which are going to benefit us quite a bit. So let's go with the random RNG approach. They have 4 cards. Now they have 3 cards in hand. Let's hope that it's something big. The Killmonger is not what we are looking for. That hurts us more than it hurts them. Oh my gosh. So they're running Cerebro 3. That is what they're running. So in that case, I think it's hard for them to push power into the Crimson Cosmos. I say we drop Dracula onto the board. We then can determine our last turn play. I don't know if we go with something here to pull it over. This might be a Cerebro. They may have dropped their Cerebro into the Dark Dimension and just planned on giving up the Crimson Cosmos. We need a big power play into one of these 2 locations, or to move their cards into an advantageous spot. Okay, so the Scarlet Witch changes Ruins again, which is interesting following up the Rhino play. That ruins a Cerebro for them. That is huge. So these cards will get buffed, but not their other ones. Let's go ahead and snap, see if we can press the advantage, see if we can get them to retreat. I think that's pretty big. Oh no, they snap back. Okay. So we can pull a card over into the Dark Dimension with Polaris. We can use Groot here, and then if they don't play a card here, we win this location. If they do, we may end up losing it, but Groot will trigger and get a bigger bonus. And then I think we have to hope that Dracula pulls into our Magneto play here. This is either going to make us a lot closer to neutral, or it is going to make us very, 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 very sad. This is not how I saw the draft mode going at all. An 8-cube game after an 8-cube game after an 8-cube game. Oh no, our Polaris has nowhere to turn, nowhere to pull, nothing to hide, nothing to shame. So they have the Cerebro, they have the Mystique. I think we still might have a shot at winning the Dark Dimension here, because they have Juggernaut that will push this card over. That's fine. The Killmonger can't kill anything. That's fine. Dracula needs to pull into our Magneto. We have a... That's it. That is it. We had the 50-50. We had the 50-50 split at the very end. Oh my gosh. Bishop, thank you for being a good sport about that one. We needed that. We needed the flip. We needed the lucky Dracula pull to come in for the win. Oh my gosh. Huge. So huge. So with that, we are only -3. That is game 4. We have one more. We might be able to get positive. We will see. We will see what we can do here. Oh no, corporate came to shut us down. This is game 5. This is the last game of the video. If we climb out of this hole and we end the video positive, if you're not subscribed, please definitely remember to subscribe. We are currently at 3,400 subscribers, just above 3,435 subscribers as of the time of recording this video. We are so incredibly close to 3,500, and then our next big milestone of 4,000. If you guys do enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. Especially going into the global launch, we are going to be pushing out content for the foreseeable future. We pulled into Polaris, they pulled into Onslaught, which is really, really unfortunate. What we can do with Magneto, though, is pull their Patriot, pull their Mystique away from the Sakaar location. That will benefit us a decent amount. We do have Groot. If they play a card into Sinister London this turn, that's going to be a really big Groot for us. If not, that feels pretty unfortunate. I think we're going to gamble with it. Okay, so it does turn out... Ooh, so they played Patriot into Sakaar instead. Interesting. And then they just got the lucky upside that it pushed over into Sinister London. Bravo. We don't have Enchantress, which is a potential issue. It's actually a pretty decent issue. We don't have Polaris. Oh no, we have Polaris on the board already. No. Well, that is unfortunate. So I think what we do is we go with a Black Widow play to clog up their board a little bit. Yeah, we'll go with a Nawadu into the Ruins. Next turn, maybe we do a Dracula. A Dracula and a Mantis would feel pretty decent. That allows us to do a turn 6 leader play. But we will see what they... Ooh, so this location looks like a hard loss. Definitely a hard loss. I don't necessarily care for the morph play here, because they're going to benefit more from whatever we morph into. So the single card tokens, they will benefit more from it than we will. It does give us a little bit of information, but I don't like it. I also don't necessarily care for the leader play. So we can do 3 or 4 cost cards. So we can actually move our Patriot over into the Ruins to take out the Onslaught Citadel bonus. I say we do a morph here. Then we're going to do a Magneto here, which is a pretty big play. We can pull the Patriot over. That takes away one of the Patriot abilities, so it's essentially only going to be 2 instead of 3. And then we might have a chance of coming up over their Sakaar location if we're lucky. The bad thing about Magneto is that it will pull into these cards as well. So unless they leave only one spot, then we won't be able to pull into that many cards, or it could potentially pull into one of their other cards. So they extend the game with magic. Interesting. Okay, so let's go with the Magneto play. Let's hope that they play, I don't know, something in Sakaar this turn. Ooh, and they snap. They have a Blue Marvel. I would say they play their Blue Marvel here, which would leave us free to pull their Patriot over. We win the Limbo location. We just have to figure out how to win the Sakaar location after that. They snapped. This is the last turn. It doesn't look great. The Blue Marvel is going to buff up everything by 2, so it's going to be a +8 in each lane. And then they have the Mystique, don't they? Which would be fine. Mystique copying that would put them at a pretty weak Sakaar lane. I think that'd be fine. Let's go with the Magneto. Hope that they don't cap out this location. Thank you. Let's pull. No, it's the Brood. What is going on? That should have been our Patriot. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Okay. And we have initiative, so the leader play is actually pretty unfortunate. Because leader, if they play the Mystique like I think they're going to, then all of a sudden ours will try to copy Magneto's ability. Of course, since it's not an ongoing, he won't get it. And then theirs will do the Blue Marvel. So if we do a Mojo here, if this is a Mystique, that gives them, like, it's +1, 2, 3, 4 power here, so it's only a 19 power lane. This would push us up over that. We would still win this one. But if they do something like a Wasp and then just do their Mystique here because they have the space to do that now, then they will win. Corporate came to shut us down. They do not want us to be positive. We have to hope that they misplay here and that they lean into their Mystique to try and win this lane, but I don't think they do. Corporate is a pretty good player. How else would they get up the Corporate ladder if they were not? So we do have the Mojo. I doubt it's going to be enough, though. But we will see. So our Mantis pulls into a Khazar. So it is... Ooh, wait, it is the Mystique. I think we win the middle and the right lane. Right? No. That puts us really, really close. No way. That is a net gain of +1. After our really unfortunate start, that's pretty good. I didn't think there was any chance that we were going to come back to a net positive in the span of 5 games. That's huge. We got very lucky that they played the Mystique here. Maybe they were worried about a Shang-Chi play, but even the debris wouldn't have done it for them. We will take those. We will take those every single time. I am going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for continuing to come back and enjoy the content. If you liked this format, please let me know in the comment section down below so that I can structure some more of my videos in the future around this. And then make sure to jump into our lunch live stream because it should be an incredible time. Negative or positive cubes, it should be fun regardless. But as always, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.